Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of rSlash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, the old high impedance air gap, the last shoot down of LTC, insect, a riddle which anyone here will answer correctly. What part of I'm calling CID and having you arrested did you not understand? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. The old high impedance air gap. Hey everybody. Discovered this sub a short while back and I love it. Had an incident happen recently that I thought you might enjoy. I'm a service tech for an AV integrator. So my general day-to-day is going to different places and resolving issues with installed audio-visual systems in commercial spaces. Stuff as basic as a single laptop connected to a projector on a conference room table all the way up to full-scale multi-system deployments across multiple locations. Not long ago I got a service ticket for what was presented as a control issue. The customer stated that the PCs in their training room were no longer routing to the mounted displays. To elaborate, the bulk of the systems that we install involve a touch panel control system running custom programming that routes different sources to different destinations. Typically PCs or video conference systems are routed to a projector or a TV installed in a room. This is typically accomplished using transmit devices that take a VGA/HDMI/DVI/etc. video signal and convert it to run down a Cat5/Cat6 line to a video switcher where it then gets routed to whatever receive device you choose that's typically mounted at the destination, TV, projector, etc. So I get on site and get to work. I ask the customer to please demonstrate the issue for me, so I have a good idea of what's going on. There are about 20 or so PCs in this room which are all able to be routed to 4 TVs on the wall in whatever configuration that he chooses. So he wakes up a couple PCs and proceeds to try and route them to a few different displays. No dice. I start trying to do this myself and begin checking the touch panel to make sure it's responding to commands properly. Everything seems to be responding without issue. So that tells me the control system is likely fine. My next move is to wake up every PC in the room and see if there's anything that I can route. While walking around and doing this, I try to get some more info from the customer about the issue. I ask when this started happening and if anything had gone on in the days leading up to the problem. He says that their local tech team had been in the room recently to do some basic work on some of the PCs, but that's about it. He said that since the issue came up after they were done, he confronted them about what they did. The on-site techs were adamant that they didn't do anything that would have affected the AV system, and this was not their fault. By the time we had this discussion, I had already woke up all the PCs and tried routing them one by one with no luck. So with the information that he had just given me, I decided that I needed to get under the tables and get a look at these PCs, as maybe a transmitter might need a reboot or something like that. I get to one of the PCs close to me, see the transmitter mounted under the table, check the connections at that device, confirm they're solid, and power cycle it. No change. So then I start digging through what was a mess of cabling next to the PC to check that video output. What do I see? Laying in the spaghetti mess is a disconnected VGA cable. I was a tad curious about that because the PC had DisplayPort connections already running out of it. But being that it also had a local monitor connected, things started to click. Just for jollies, I went ahead and connected the VGA cable to the PC, and went over to the panel and routed it. Bingo, I had signal. Remember, there are at least 20 PCs in this room. So my next 30 to 40 minutes are spent going to each one of these workstations, getting underneath the table, digging through a mess of cabling, and reconnecting each individual VGA to its closest PC. Fun. To sum this up, it seems that someone had gone to every single workstation in this room and disconnected the VGA cable. My only guess at why would be that VGA is an older format, and maybe they assumed it wasn't needed since the local monitors all worked. But being that this system was a few years old, and with other outputs being used, this may have been the only connection method available. I went to my customer, explained what I found, and then made sure to show him that each workstation was connected to the transmitters using the VGA port on the PCs. On one hand, he was pissed about the fact that the local folks had done this, and then denied doing anything. But on the other, I think he got a bit of satisfaction that he was right. I demonstrated that the system was now functional and answered any questions he had. He was satisfied. I went on my way. That high impedance air gap between a cable and its port can be a real PETA when trying to put a signal out there. The last shoot down of LTC. Insect. Backstory: I worked IT in the Army. At this point in my career, I had progressed from mainframes to tactical computer systems, to XAMO, Combat Systems Support Automation Officer, to desktops, to servers, email servers, domain controllers, and into installing and configuring network switches and routers. My career in the Army was coming to a close. I had spent the last 3 to 4 months training newly minted computer techs with skills not taught at course, hopefully to make them better techs. I had signed in my keys and had my replacement sign the keys back out. He was bug-eyed to the amount of keys and responsibility he was getting. The Army's policies on computers and networking were getting retarded. So, I had 2 computers on my desk. One for official military work computer and one personal laptop for pulling miracles out of my ass, because the new security guy was in a whole drone. I had done his job when it was put onto me as an additional duty. The personal laptop never connected to the network because its purpose was for things like drive recovery. I had personally purchased a couple of expensive drive forensics programs and performing impossible tasks, like converting a recorded deposition of sensitive nature from one codec to MP3. A lot of these tasks could not be completed on the Army system because of regulations against loading non-DoD software on DoD systems, like I said, getting retarded. Hence the non-DoD laptop. Onward. I was a day away from terminal leave and the start of my retired military life. This happened on a Thursday afternoon around 1,400 hours. I was in my office cleaning *T out, figuring out what were keepsakes and what needed to be tossed. Then, LTC Insect, MAJ, Insect from the story you. Doing guy walks in. LTC Insect Sergeant. I need you to recover the data off this hard drive for me. Me, why are you bringing me this now? Tomorrow is pretty much my last day. LTC Insect, I brought it your boss, and he said he'd get his best man on the job. He couldn't figure it out and gave it back to me. Me, when did you give the drive to the boss and his best man? LTC Insect, 2 months ago. Me, and you're just bringing it to me now. LTC Insect, there's a bunch of important information on this, and I need it recovered, and I know you can extract it. After playing 20 questions, I find out it's his personal external hard drive with his pictures from Afghanistan on it. He was using his position of rank for something that was personal, and hoping to get a freebie out of it by playing it off as official business. Me, sir, this will require 12 to 18 hours of scan time to see if there is anything recoverable from the drive, along with 4 to 6 hours of time to copy your recovered data to a new external hard drive. Do you have a fresh external hard drive to dump your data onto? LTC Insect, another drive. Won't you provide one? Me, no. This is personal data on a personal external drive. You want the data, you provide a fresh drive. Actually, I don't have time for this. Tomorrow is my last day. It'll be a very short day. I'm afraid you'll have to take it a professional drive recovery company to get your data back. I can give you a list of places in town that could facilitate this. LTC Insect, what? You are not going to do this for me? Me, no, sir. If you had brought this to me 2 weeks ago and agreed to buy 6 pizzas for the office, I would have had the luxury of time to complete this. LTC Insect, 6 pizzas? Anytime someone brought personal equipment in for me to work on, it was either $100 cash for my retirement party fund or 6 pizzas for my guys at the office. The work was done at home, so there was no improper use of government time. Me, that's the going rate for off-hours work on personal equipment. LTC Insect, I'm giving you a direct order. Me to work on your personal equipment? No. Sir, you have a great day and good luck finding a company that will recover your data cheaper than 6 pizzas. At the time, it was $1,700 just to look at the drive with no promises of recovering anything. LTC Insect leaves the office empty-handed. Friday, I had prior approval to show up in a suit and tie, made my rounds to say goodbye to those I cared about, sent out my last official global email of my retiring and thanking those I knew through my career, boss SHT Green Twinkies at first, thinking I sent out a flame mail until he read it and thought it was great, threw a couple boxes of I Love Me SHT and my laptop in the truck, went to lunch with the office, and went home. A riddle, which anyone here will answer correctly. A longish time ago, some decades back, I had a side gig I was doing while I was going to college. It was a small investment firm. Maybe 6 people total, all being run by the owner. We'll call him Bill. Bill was argumentative. Bill knew more than everyone. He was pretty much the worst sort of person to work for. But he broke things around his office with alarming regularity, and I only had to deal with him a few hours a week, so why not? A poor college kid has to take what he can get. Bill had a Novell 3.11 server hosting the company's main data store. I did say this was a while ago, right? It had run out of space. Bill said the previous guy just added another drive. Do that. This is something in Novell called spanning. You take multiple drives and make them into one big virtual drive. Basically RAID adjacent, but with no redundancy. Every drive you add multiplies your chance of having something bad happen to you. If you have a 3-drive span, if drive 2 goes bye-bye, you lose the entire span and everything on it. It's the worst possible solution. I explained this to Bill and told him we need to do backups. Bill disagrees. We've never needed them before. I came up with a tape swapping routine on the 3.11 server and wrote a document on how to back it up. Did they do it? No, of course not. I noticed Bill had a tape backup on his desk machine. I set that up to stealthily back up the Novell drive to his tape drive at midnight. He discovered it and disabled it. Because of course he would. He didn't think of it, so it wasn't a good idea. So when the local power company sent the office a letter saying, "Hey, we need to work on the utility poles in your area. We will be disconnecting your building from power at 11:30 at this date, be ready for it." Were they ready for it? Of course not. Guy on the pole at the appointed time takes his clippers and ZAP kills power. Office goes down in a mighty crash. And of course, it kills the span drive and the Novell server, which they had disconnected from the UPC for reasons only they know. Okay, now the riddle. Bill calls me screaming. Whose fault is it? Guess. What part of I'm calling CID and having you arrested did you not understand? Note this would have been posted at rSlash military stories, but politics got in the way. This happened in 2002 to 2003 time frame. There I was. A Army Systems admin wearing many hats. Knee-deep in green bar printouts, Windows 95 floppy disks, old Cisco network equipment and balls of Cat5 cable. Sorry. No brass, no ammo in this story. Yep. Some brass, like the officer kind again. The help desk gets a call from a remote installation, they unsure how to fulfill the request, so they passed it over to me. This was an interesting conversation that deals with network ownership and who is responsible for it. Our officer of the day is Major MCP, Microsoft Certified Professional. He held an MCP at the time, but did not hold signal branch or assigned a billet in the IT field. Me networking, SGT Bilko speaking. MCP, this is Major MCP. I was passed over to you from the help desk to get something resolved. Me sure sir, what do you need help with? MCP, I need the IP scope of my building, so I can configure and install a Linksys wireless router. Me, that's not happening. MCP, why not? It's my building, I can do what I want with it. Besides, I'm a MCP. Me, okay sir. Let me help you out. First off, the network is my responsibility, not yours. Second, this is a DoD network. We don't install wireless routers because you want one. At the time, there were no wireless networking of any kind. To install one would be considered a breach of security. MCP, I know what I'm doing, I'm an MCP. What are you? Just a lowly E5? You need to hand over the IP information so I can get this wireless router installed. I'm an officer, you're just a peon enlisted. You do what I order. Doh. He really stepped in that one. Me, okay sir. I guess breach of a DoD network went over the top of your head. Should I put you on hold and call CID, Criminal Investigation Division, to have you arrested now or later? Your choice. By the way, I own this network, you do not. I don't give two TS if you're an MCP or not. You are a guest on my network, I don't work for you, nor are you part of my chain of command. What you are ordering is illegal and a felony. Better yet, let me call CID and I'll drive down with them and I'll camcorder your arrest. MCP, you can't talk to me that way. I want your boss on the phone. Me, sure thing sir. Put the turd on hold, walk into the boss's office, and explain to him what the call is about before forwarding it. Boss conversation in the background. CID, felony, illegal, and I don't care if you're a MCP came up several times in that conversation. Boss, I can't believe that idiot. Me, it takes all sorts, sir. Do I need to call CID? Boss, no. I told him if you find any router or rogue device of any kind on their subnet, that you will be taking their subnet offline until a team can be sent down there to ensure there are no other rogue devices on that subnet. Me, thank you sir. Boss, that's what we're here for. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.